قدوس قدوس يا رب الصباؤوت السماء والأرض.
I want you to prove me that. Could you find a contradiction in the Quran?
Can I? Well, I mean, that's not the topic. I don't really care if there is a contradiction in there or not.
You said Islam is false, so prove Islam is false. Anyhow.
Hold on a second. How does that necessitate then that if there's a contradiction? Well, I mean, I could pull a verse that says that, but even if there were no contradictions, I mean, could it still be true or false? Or like, okay, like for instance, could you perfectly?
Yes, I understand. If there's no contradictions, it could still be false.
Okay,
but
could you perfectly?
How?
Here's the question: could you perfectly preserve a lie?
What do you mean?
If somebody told
to
you,
be honest, just get to the point. Get to the point, bro.
That is the point. If somebody told you a lie, could you perfectly preserve that lie over 1,400 years?
What do you mean preserve?
Like, for instance, like the claim that Muslims make is that one of the proofs for Islam is that there's no contradictions in the Qur'an. لا تناقضات. There's no contradictions. Okay, fine. If that's the case, so what? If the Qur'an is false, if it is a lie, couldn't you just perfectly preserve a lie?
So you're saying Islam is basically hiding a lie. Am I right?
Well, I don't believe that it's the truth. Do you want to maybe talk about why I don't believe it's the truth?
Yeah.
Okay. In the Quran, it says that Muhammad is the seal of the prophets, plural, prophets. Who are those prophets that the Quran is talking about?
It's talking about the prophets in the past.
Like who?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm
That's
asking
very
you.
easy.
Okay.
That's very easy. It's
like who?
The prophets in the past.
Who?
Are you really? You actually don't know this answer. There's no way you're going to be on a TikTok live saying Islam is false when you don't know this answer.
My friend, in Islam, Ad-Din Islamiyya, there are hadith. There's a hadith actually that say that there was 144,000 prophets. There's another that says there was 124,000 prophets. There's some other hadith that say there were. Hold on, just listen, because you asked me a question. Let me respond. But in the Quran, it only lists 25 of the prophets. So I'm asking, okay, well, based on your disposition, based on who I'm talking to, I'll get a different answer. So I'm asking, according to the Quran, who are some of these prophets?
Well, there's no way you're saying Islam is false without not knowing Islam.
Okay.
So you're saying...
Let me help you. The prophet that came right before Muhammad, who was that?
I'm assuming Isa.
Isa. Okay. Where can I go to get a authentic teaching of Isa to see if he actually did line up with Muhammad?
I mean, like ask Muslims about it, do some research.
I'm asking you. You asked me why I think Islam is false. This is one of the reasons.
That's what I would do. I would ask Muslims and I would do some research by myself.
Are you a Muslim? Accurate.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you. So, for instance, you believe that the Bible is corrupt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't use the Bible to get an authentic teaching of Jesus, the prophet that came. Huh?
Oh, what is this going?
Well, if Muhammad is the seal of the prophets, I need to be able to verify that he's the seal of the prophets. So he can't contradict core teachings of the Islamic God. So where can I get a authentic, where can I read about an authentic teaching of Jesus before the Quran to see if Muhammad really did line up with him? Because that will vindicate Muhammad being the seal of the prophets.
Wait, before we go there, do you admit, I think you already know the Quran doesn't have contradictions. Am I right?
My friend, if it has contradictions or if it doesn't have contradictions, that has no bearing on whether or not it's true. Where can I go to get an
If it
authentic
had
teaching of
contradictions, it
Jesus?
wouldn't be true. If it had contradictions, it wouldn't be true. But if it didn't have contradictions, it kind of still could be false. I agree. But do you admit that the Quran does not have any contradictions?
My friend, I don't know if it does or not, and I don't care. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, if Muhammad is the seal of the prophets, where can I go to get an authentic teaching of Jesus, the prophet that came right before him, to see if he really is in line with them? That's what I'm asking. Forget about the contradictions. I don't really care about that.
I mean, prophets had different rules.
Okay. Could they contradict each other on core teachings?
A little bit, because it's going to be different.
Okay. Do you think that Muhammad would agree that Allah is a father?
No.
Okay. Well, in the previous scripture, Jesus said that God was his father. So do you think that Muhammad would affirm that?
So you're trying to say my religion is false by using your book?
I mean, we don't have to use the Bible. We can use whatever. This is why I keep asking you, where can I go to get an authentic teaching of Jesus?
Bro.
If we can't use the Bible, fine, forget about the Bible. Where can I go to get an authentic teaching of Jesus to see if he really believed the same thing that Muhammad believed? That's what I'm asking you.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't do that much research, but I know there was a revelation for Isa alayhi salam, but I don't know where it is. But I know you guys don't have the right one.
Okay. So if you don't have it, or if nobody has it, then we kind of just have to trust that Muhammad really is a seal of the prophets. We just have to believe him, because there's no way for us to verify it.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. If Islam is the only true religion, when I realized Islam was the only true religion, I didn't look into Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam life. I just accepted Islam. It's true enough.
So you just accepted Islam without actually looking into it, without checking to see if he really is the seal.
I did look into it. I didn't look into the last prophet life.
But that's what Muhammad says. He says he's the seal of those prophets that came before him, but we have no way of verifying it. So why would you believe him to be the seal of the prophets if you can't verify it?
Because Islam is true.
Okay, so circular reasoning. Yeah. So Islam is true because Muhammad said it's true. Well, how do you know that Muhammad is true?
No.
Because the Qur'an says Muhammad is true. Well, how do you know that the Qur'an is true? Because Muhammad said that the Qur'an is true. That's circular, bro.
What I'm saying is like this. If Islam is true, there's no need for me to look into Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam life.
But that's the thing in question. I'm saying, you know, Muhammad is true based on what? Based on the things that you read about in the Qur'an. And one of the things you read about in the Qur'an is that he's the Khatim in the Nabiyin,
hold on.
That he's the seal of the prophets. Hold on. But I'm saying, well, how do we verify that he's the seal? And you say, well, we don't need to. You don't see how that's a problem?
I don't even think you're a good debater. You just try to prove my religion false just by your religion.
Here we go, ad-homs.
You said,
are you gonna answer the question, bro, or not? Like, I mean, we just gonna keep dancing around this, or?
I honestly don't think you're like you're an accurate debater.
Okay.
You try to prove my religion false.
All right, no problem, bro. Go find somebody else who's an accurate debater.
قدوس